Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do it again, okay? Oh, you know. So I'm going to read a poem called Inexistent Fog that I've written for a magazine in the UK. As usual, I'll do the Catalan and then I'll do the English. So, boira inexistent. La boira enterra al matí, deixant el món en la tenebra. No hi ha vent, no hi ha llum, només els fantasmes conviuen junts. Les memòries han desaparegut, congelades en la ceguera del moment. Obsessionat pel passat, pel futur, has mort sense conèixer la llum. Les emocions s'han amagat. És un món sense amor, és un món sense passió. No es poden expressar. La raó ha embogit en un món sense pensar, en un espai sense innovar, en la prudència del silenci. L'oïdor és l'únic refugi. Pots contemplar com la boira del matí desapareix amb un somriure sense compromís. And now I'll do the English version. Inexistent fog. The fog buries the morning, leaving the world in darkness. There's no wind, no light, only ghosts living around. The memories are gone, frozen in the blindness of the moment. Obsessed with the past and the future, you have died without knowing the light. Emotions are hidden in a world without love. In a world without passion, they cannot be expressed. The reason is become crazy in a world without thinking, in a space without innovating, in the prudence of the silence. Emptiness is the only refuge. You can contemplate how the morning mist disappears with a smile, without commitment. That's it. I haven't had time to rehearse much. You know, I usually rehearse 50 or 80 times my poems, but this one, you know, is not as professional as I like to be. It's good enough, okay?
It's great.
Tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I go back to the boys, okay?
Always
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Keep on fighting the fascists.
Thank you. There's plenty of them about.
No, wait a minute. As a Genralissimo, I don't know if I like that statement.
F the fascists.
The
The whole stinking lot of them.
Question, can a Genralissimo be exclusive of being a fascist? Ben?
No.
I don't know. I guess I have to rethink myself. Okay. But I would
Don't
like to
get me on my soapbox.
But I would like to say one thing. I just put in the chat how you can buy my book. So if at any time tonight you feel like buying this wonderful book, everything I think is all in my mind. It's a wonderful book, and all the information is now in the chat on how you can buy it. So thank you.
And it is a good book. It's a good book. I've read it. It's a good book. Okay, we're moving on. Our next reader is not here, so we're going to welcome back to Blot. She was going to be on later on, but she's got only stay for an hour or so tonight. So please welcome back Kelly Van Nelson.
Hello, hello. It's been forever. I can't remember the last time I tuned in for so many reasons from Sydney, but it's nice to be here this morning. I've been studying, Finn, at the California Institute of Arts, just doing poetry, studying online, and it's not like me at all. I normally just free flow and slam and don't have a huge amount of structure around the work. But anyway, I've been doing this online course and it's been really cool. So I might just do one. It's really quite short, but I wrote it through this university poetry studying, and it got picked up and got published, and I got a copy of the book about 2 days ago in this book called Take Heart. So I might do that one because it's new and I haven't done it ever. And it's good to see you all. I'm sorry I've been missing in action. Yeah. All right, so this one is called, and it's a bit appropriate, it's called The Keyboard is an Armored Tank. And yeah, I've been in this bit of corporate limbo and just quit my corporate job after 10 years as managing director of a massive Fortune 500. So this is my ode to the corporate world, or exiting the corporate world. All right, it's called The Keyboard is an Armored Tank. Stained fingertips bleed raw as they claw back to tap. Irreversible instructions instigating war. Enter key loading lethal bullet in the hold. Camouflaged behind overworked khaki letter. Mental health and stealth, no peaceful wealth. Poised to hose down the next casualty, leaving them ravished. Abandoned beneath enemy treads, rolling over corpse with brutal force, no remorse, in a field where peacekeeping is buried below earth. Scattered with dry poppy petals, red carpet laid for uniformed survivors on the winning side of mahogany desk, monitored by general rules. Casting shadows of doubt over wires crossed, begging for traumatic memories to be drugged and unplugged, but the computer says no. Refusing to succumb to Control Alt Delete as the tank rolls on to lecture the meek. Unsuspecting replacement recipient, new participant, on war without peace, preparing for the next shift. That's it. I'm going to keep it short, Finn. I wasn't sure if I was going to read or not, but it's good to see you all. I'm going to just tune in quietly and listen. Good morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Good to see you back. Good to see you back.
Thanks.
Good to see you. So you've got another job lined up, is it?
I am at final stages of interviews, but yeah, long story, not one for, well, it kind of is one for poetry, but not one for non-poetry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Good
few
luck.
changes.
Good luck. And cheers.
Thank you.
All right. I'm moving closer to home now, very close to home. Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Finn. Good to see everyone. This first poem it's got a bit of a Christmas feel to it. It's how my father, who was suffering from dementia, thought about Christmas part of the time, but for him, Christmas wasn't necessarily in December. It could be any time of the year. This is called Rudolph. And did I tell you this before? I heard Rudolph on the roof again last night. Bloody who kept me awake. Jingle bells my arse. Let's have a cup of tea. And these carol singers, they never stop crooning. Away in a manger. I couldn't even sleep in my bed. Never mind a manger. I just want quietness to escape from the white noise and the shapes that swarm from mirrors and fireplaces. Can you put the kettle on? I went for a walk today, not far. I did my walking, son, from Normandy to Berlin. Did I tell you about the Latvian typists that I worked with in Hamburg? Is the tea ready yet? Did I tell you we used to make the bootleggers taste the vodka before we bought it? I probably told you how we dug graves for men that didn't deserve to die. You get lovely lemon drizzle cake in this cafe, although it doesn't look like a tea room. I used to do my milk round before school, mind. Saw many a sight a young lad shouldn't have seen. Remember, I take milk in my tea. Did I tell you I heard Rudolph on the roof again last night? Santa didn't even leave me a bloody present. That's that one. The next one is kind of, you see on television these days so many disturbing images of terror, people dying unnecessarily through the world, and this is called Images of Terror. A veil of tears, master horror and desperation.
Edict.
One last look at her tiny daughter's face, one last hug, one last kiss, one last prayer. Then she dropped like a doll over barbed barriers into the hands of soldiers, and her mother wept as a hail of bullets rained on dry desert dust. Another lost child of humanity floated face down in our seas. He did not make that final jump onto the shores of hope, freedom, and safety, denied by the sharp rocks of bureaucracy. And his mother wept as ebbing tides washed the consciences of politicians. They scrambled for crumbs in the camp, like little birds desperate for a tiny morsel. A father sold his youngest daughter, allowing his family to eat for a month, and her mother wept as the world watched another image of terror. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful stuff. Excuse me. We're very low key tonight. As some of you know, I've been feeling pretty not at all well this weekend. I'm not too bad today, but my COPD's not helping me breathe very well, so I'm going to be quite quiet. Move on now to Richard.
Hello, everyone. As you will gather from my costume, I do a lot of children's Christmas events, usually. Obviously, I'm not going in and out of schools this year, but quite often I do. And I was asked to submit a audio recording for some sort of Christmas magazine all over Wakefield. So no, York. So I've just done that, and this is the one that I've done for that. So I thought I'd do it here. And it's called Santa and the Scientist, and it's based on the story of Dr. Beeching and the railways, which is personal to me because my dad was his big pal, and he worked for ICI, and Beeching was an ICI guy they loaned to the government specifically because he knew nothing about railways and didn't care. Time and Motion Man. So this is Santa and the Scientist. Hieronymus Birkentroop was a man with a mission, a man of science with a brilliant mind. He had 114 degrees, letters after his name and titles before. His mission was firstly to invent a means of fast transport round the world, so fast it would make Star Trek's transporter look slow, and his beaming up would be faster than Scotty's. He slaved away and came up trumps. Then he wondered who could benefit most, and after much thought decided to take this invention to a man he loved best of all. That's Santa. That's who. He dreamed of the great man delivering toys in a flash to every child in the world. Now, not every bright, intelligent man with many degrees knows all about life, has lived in the real world and has common sense. They live in an ivory tower in a world of academia, as did he. He never gave a thought to the reindeer flying high, to the joy of the world in seeing Santa fly in the sky. He wanted everything done fast, as efficiently as can be. He was a time and motion man. His spirit could not break free. As he sought Santa's house, it's true, he wondered what the reindeers would do, and he decided that he rather liked the idea of hot reindeer stew. He found Santa and told him the idea, and Santa liked the thought of immediate delivery as sold to him. On the sleigh they set off, but the calculations were wrong. They crash-landed 5 miles away, and a long walk back was that in the snow. The reindeer were playing in a field nearby, when to them Santa did cry and asked for their help. Of course they agreed, and now forevermore they will help Santa deliver presents galore. Hieronymus Birkentroop walked home all alone, a very sad man. For the rest of his life he did moan that Santa was daft and should have given him another chance. But Santa was wise and did not want to be led on a futile dance by a man with no common sense, who, although extremely bright, acted dense. So there you are. Then you have to use your imagination, because you have to transform me into an absolutely beautiful treetop angel. Just imagine that. It shouldn't be too difficult. Just merge me with Leslie. But anyway, there you are. That's a compliment, Leslie. So this is the treetop angel. I am a smiling angel on top of a tree. I'm as sweet and lovely as can be. Nothing shines brighter than me. I have a gorgeous, glittering, flowing long dress. My beautiful blonde hair is perfect, never a mess. My wings are splendid and fine, and I must confess I sit happily watching all I survey, the decorations and tinsel on display. I am the zenith of decorations, I must say. Beneath me are fairy lights dancing away, candles shine brightly, both charming and fey. Around the room are Rudolphs and Santas with sleigh. The whole house is festooned and oh so bright, celebrating the joy of this time of year in jovial light. The house is warm and happy both day and night, and I am the crowning glory of this wonderful tree. My spirits are soaring high, so happy and free. I could imagine for one moment that this is about me. But am I proud? I should say not. It's not me that people have never forgot. I'm wonderfully pretty, but matter not a jot. It's Jesus we celebrate every Christmas day and show our love for him come what may. So let's celebrate his birth. That's what I say. Sweet Jesus, happy birthday. And I'm not an overly religious person, but that just seemed appropriate to write. And then I've got a very short one, which I'm going to take my hat off because I'm being a bit more serious now. And this is called Our Shame. The sweet Virgin Mary gave birth in a barn, but should we still not shout and alarm us here in our prosperous new century? Plenty of people live in abject penury. It would surprise no one to find the hospital closed and a homeless woman who one would have supposed could find a place to give a clean and dignified birth of such simple rights would find there was a dearth. Perhaps having wandered the streets alone and sad, today a birth in a coal barn to her might not seem too bad. The rulers of this new great glittering millennium should hang their heads in shame till our needs are understood, till they act with true and generous humanity. Our daily lives will be filled with profanity. So things have not changed in thousands of years, and Mary could now give birth amidst dirt and tears. So that's thank you. And Finn kindly mentioned my CD. Withensea is getting a new pier, and it's in aid of it. We've raised £1,500 in 2 months with this CD, which you can get from me. UK postage. I don't know about postage or all sorts of other places and complicated custom things now that we're Brexited. Anyway, so it is still available, but there's only about 40 copies left. It's on download, so you can get that forever. But if you want it, message me and I'll give you details. In fact, I'll post it to you personally, but I'll give you the details of the download. And there's 14 songs taken from my poems that folk have chosen. So there you go. That's me plug, and I only mentioned it because Finn did. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone.
And it's a good CD as well.
Yes. Finn bought it. Various of you have bought it. You know, I mean, I do know when I come on and I'm trying to flog it away. And the book, I have a book, yes, I do realise when I look at all the faces, I think, oh well, half of these have got it. You know. So anyway, right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam Richard. Thank you. Take care and a good Christmas. All right. Next up is Chris State. Chris.
Okay, thank you. Angels play croquet. Angels play croquet. Top hats are chimneys. Troughs or rain whiskey. And scarecrows splash chutney. Pies cut by ploughmen. Cakes freeze to snamen. Weddings wi' goblins tangled in bobbins. Beer barrels are bootleg. Wizard eyes drip eggs. Diaries ripped tae dregs, mirror a witch nags. Ponds are like portraits, sna is pearl gauntlets, fountains o' sherbet, real hares and rabbits. Ride in wheelbarrows, our trench marrows, secrets for the tarot, whispered in furrows. Calendars tack bows, the clocks are furlowed, we varnished meadows, splinter and burrows. Chalk fields are pillows, antlers o' willow, candles are halos, and shades share their shadows. Diablo in the Curse of Rumpelstiltskin. He was offered the job by a wolf in sheep's skin. It was a ragged swab that sorcerers spin. He travelled in a cart, rummeled rods like yogurt, o'er rigs o' apple tarts, and hoof tricket dirt. The cart was hijacked, so the wreck transport gied the tracks a knock for trails o' clatched clart. It was to teach the language for damaged old books, his carried baggage dragged for the nooks. Upon horse and carriage were voodoo taxis, robbers had a rummage, and buttons were currency. Arrivals at a fridge, his fox said good riddance, where ogres burnt their bridge, and their een rolled in a glance. Slester saw a smudge, a tune in wickets, folk rub a grudge, and stacks o' hoiled buckets. Credits and debits dance, biggins o' skittles, trows in a trance, and winds made wid wiggle. So the ill-looked job, like a poisoned apple, a door wi' nae knob at the Tour o' Babel. A possessed mob, aye chased by the coppers, a kettle jigged on a hob, and they ran trow a mirror. Shan the ribs o' the village's girdle, a tune in a tub, piggy i' the middle. Apples were dooked with their skulls in treacle, lost boots were hooked, and the beaches were brittle. So the words he tout covered up the crimes, numbers and knots, naughty nursery rhymes. Pickled chamber pots, lemon and lime, coins swallowed in slots, and 13 o'clock chimes. The tune o' tiddlywinks, a mess o' marbles, flashbacks and blinks, horned and horrible. This Chester job, the prince and the pauper, court kisses in pubs, stone cups and saucers. The devil's dialect in soot black runes that the crass picked and words shovelled by spoons. O the Tour o' Babel, quar every lair that leads to trouble like a slippery stair. Forests o' stubble, Medusa's tails, fort speech bubbles and fonts that failed. Swallowed as gobbles no one could bill, gridlocked in rubble and the doors were nailed. The city is crumble, the tune was a pear, fruits twisted tumble with sugar in layers. The cart was ramshackle and shoved o'er the slime, rods bunion buckled and paths plitted in grime. A treat bare red carpet, nae lumrick welcome, netting was a fret fu a man's tantrums. Lick figures out lad for the nursery rhymes that each had to claw and hae a steep climb. Quar the sheep were cad, dogs chorused by hymns, and the winds a blad making the girse mime. There was no rewards, while he served his time, he was crooned a coord by the garden gnomes. Hell houses haggled, ruins grew mushrooms, biggins bedraggled with trees o' stumped combs. A rock chasm chiselled by a blunt blade, warren cockles and mussels for fower past their beds. The Old Testament, o' poker cairds, was hangovers and grunts and gurnin gills. The New Testament, for scam junk mail, a book full of rants and gurnin gills. His pockets were drained like burst waterworks, the bank was sae strained, monopolies dug barked. The carts ripped reins with wheels that sparked, that licked the lanes and halls plugged by corks. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Always great to hear
Welcome.
from you, Quine. Always great to hear from you. Excuse me.
Thank you.
All right, we noticed that just made it in time for our slot, having problems getting zoomed in to Singapore. Please welcome back, Sylvia. You're muted.
Good morning, everyone. This is Sylvia from Singapore. I'm very happy to be able to join this meeting again. I will read the first point that was written recently. It's a love point and it's called Get a Little Closer. I turn over the pillow thinking of you. Will you get a little closer, girl? How I wish you'll be more responsive to my WhatsApp. I know where I stand. I wish I can call and say hello to you, girl. Will you pick up my call? We talked the whole night through. Got a hug and kiss from you. I can't sleep with my arms holding you tight in my dream. Will you get a little closer till we meet face to face? I adore you, sweetie. A cute little voice. You got me excited. Okay, next. This one is a tribute to my counselor, Carmen. She's a tall, slim, slender lady with long hair. She's caring and sharp. She asked me why I WhatsApp friend. I say it's for connection with friends, human touch, and I love my friend. She said, don't assume or jump to the wrong conclusion. She was on leave, can't come to the phone to answer my phone call. She said, I don't have to quit my job when I move house. She will Google how to go to work and by bus and MRT station. That's good to have a good night's sleep early so that I feel refreshed to work and more energetic. Don't eat too much fast food. Try a little vegetable and meat and dishes. Tonight we'll buy an alarm clock, otherwise try mobile alarm. She's a friend, a mentor, and a counselor. She's coming from Singapore Anglican Care Center. Okay, another one. This is tribute to a young ex-colleague who is constantly taking care of me. He's not my boyfriend, but he takes care of me very well. His name is Lau. He's young, slim, frank, and smart. He taught me right from wrong. Cut down curry, fried food. Eat more vegetable and rice. Cut down on sugary food. Eat one papaya. Forget about watermelon. Caution me on online dating. Scam romance, they are only all after your money, Sylvia. Send me tips and online scam romance and scam alert. Send me clips of young white men dating. show me the importance of growing old, senior working, and saving for old age. Okay, done. Okay, this is another piece. It's a narcissistic, greed and greedy. I look her up through her eyes. She can't be my colleague or friend. She's ridden by greed and jealousy. She's thinking I will my property to God's sister and God's son. She wants to be my God's sister. I say I have no room for any God sister or any more God whatever. Dream on, this will not happen. Not giving in to her narcissistic nature, adore praises and approval in everything she says. She has infringed into my private space. It's all right to tell her to respect my space and time. I got things to do and please leave me alone. Friends, be selective who your friends are. Protect yourself from jealous and greedy people. Inspired by a narcissistic. That's all for tonight. And I hope everybody have fun. I will stay for a little while.
Thank you, Sylvia. So glad you make it. I was worried you weren't going to get in tonight, but your trooper always finds a way. Thank you very much indeed. All right. Looks like Canada must be empty tonight because we've got 2 Canadians aboard tonight. So we're going to move on to wearing his wonderful Christmas pirate hat. Please welcome back CD on Folio.
Santa drops off the gifts and I pillage them. It's my job. Okay. This one is called Portrait of a Woman at the Laundromat. I hate the way that motherly women do laundry when I am waiting to get mine from the dryer she is blocking. The way that she folds each individual unique piece of clothing, placing her paws outstretched, t-shirt hanging on display for her eyes to feast. The way she casts her mind in that moment to the recent memory of the last time little Raheem, Rosie, Leo, Leslie wore it. Their stupid smiles piled on with sunshine, the purple stain puddled on the yellow fabric, popsicle kisses glowing in adornment. I can hardly stand it. She pauses to smell the spring fresh on the folded woven cotton, filing for future reference each love-soaked sentiment of her dear children in her vaulted bank of emotions too big to fail. The way she lifts and measures the abundant bag of her motherhood, collected, clean, cast with qualities of love without condition, imbued with hues of mystic tenderness. Why can't she be more like me, bunching the lump of clothes together, feeling they're still wet because I paid the wrong dryer? And this one is called Never Say Goodbye. And it's in 3 parts. My many spines. How long have I been dancing? How long have I put my gentle body against the depths of the earth? How long have I raged under the skies? How long have I reflected? Mirrored moon, my lover, we are stomachs and laughters, churning the lands together. You on this rugged coast, and I stretching my many spines, my skin laid out between the coasts of where I end and they begin. You want to know my age, but I want to tell you of my rhythm. Shimmer, crash, weave currents, cross waves, create texture every day, weave the water, make a basket for all of creation, whales and sharks and dolphin, ornament your hair with seagull and albatross. You want notions of the infinite, to hold the memories of forever, birth motion into your life. I am penetrated by the warmth of the rays of the sun. You'll understand. You'll know me to play with me. I smile upon you. I love when you play, when you come. Catch a wave, drift on me for days. Allow my waves to gently lap at your waist. Become dizzy with my motions and my power. You've seen my calm days, but I will rage. I will swallow your cities. I will swallow your ships. I will swallow your countries. Feel my sickness, my wasted depths, my toxic image, spread into my shallowness. Oceans never cry. Oceans never say goodbye. We too do the dance of imagination. We contract and disappear into the valley air. We are soft edges where oceans end and the heavens and the lands begin. Our rhythm knows the waves and the blades of the grass. We are the calm and we are the strange. We are the cloud, we are rising and we are waving. And we are wind and we are patience. We are gravity and we are elevation. Up and out and near and in. Are you pierced from the light as I am? Are you corded and distorted? Are you slow and are you sudden? And how does it feel when you become one with the air in my lungs? What do you believe when we share the ether? When you join me for a second here? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome back. Thank you very much indeed, sir. All right. We have, I think, our only Blot debut way to come on now. The screen share is up and running for when you need it. So would you please welcome Alexandra Sarapoulou.
Without the P.
Without the P.
First the Greek version, then the English. No, I'm just joking. Okay. My visions are my torture. My visions are my comfort. Turquoise visions, turquoise flying. For those whose hearts are not tired of sowing in the field of dreams. For the journey is bittersweet, half hurt, half tenderness. Like thorny milk thistle, like sweet smelling jasmine. accepting variety and different behaviors, going beyond wrongdoings and right doings, into new and more thriving harvests. My visions are my scrambling ascent, my visions are my sacred conquest. Turquoise visions, turquoise flying, for those whose hearts can admire the phosphorescent hopes of the sunset. For the journey is rugged, half uphill, half downhill, like bare time in the winter cold, like bees gathering nectar from spring blossoms, evoking the rain's lament and the sun's caress, going beyond unpleasant reactions, onto new and even higher peaks. My visions are my futile mirages. My visions are my sweetest oases. Turquoise visions, turquoise flying. For those whose hearts are refreshing fountains of muses' songs. For the journey is uncharted, half tempest, half tranquility. Like a wavy, turbulent sea on a windy day, like crystal serene waters under the shimmering sun. Sailing over low and high tides, going beyond traumatic and fond memories, into new and longed for harbours. My visions are my lightning duty. My visions are my radiant basking. Turquoise visions, turquoise flying. For those whose hearts shine brightly through storms. For the journey is evolving, half empirical, half innate. Seeing what I encounter, seeing what I know. Painting the world in dark and iridescent hues. Going beyond detrimental and beneficial beliefs. Into new and more exquisite rainbows. Our visions are our unmanifested ashes. Our visions are our golden wings. Golden visions, golden flying.
Oh,
Henry is a great help because I'm always petrified when I'm reading.
No, you're saying I do nothing. That's what you're saying. Everybody can hear you. Mom, I can hear you. Mom, because...
oh, well, that's about it. Thank you very much, Alexander. That was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful piece, wonderful graphics, and a fantastic Blot debut. We like getting new stuff and different stuff in the show.
Henry as well for like encouraging me along with his spell alike, because I'm always petrified when I'm reading.
And I'm sure Henry was playing along there with you too in the background.
Yeah, that. Alexandra invited me. She's got a feature coming up on the 28th, and we're kind of working some ideas out.
Yeah,
Oh, great stuff. Thank you.
so
Sort of
glad.
incidental, delicate wisps of sound that I'm going to be soundscapes acoustically. I'm going to be putting underneath. I built this, just completed it a couple of weeks ago, so it's there. She is.
Yeah, I've seen it. Thank you. That was great. That was just so great. Thank you very much. Please come again. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. All right. Chris Dickinson.
Hiya. In 1993, I had my first and last poem published. And then, 2 days ago, I heard that I'd got my second one coming out in the north. So I would like to celebrate this wonderful event with you by reading them both. I can't tell you what happened in the in-between years. Work experience. This shallow bath soon cools. I'd rather sink to my chin, lie in lather, a hot skin. I used to take a bath alone, a full-length rest from random calls, the door, a child, the phone. He'd come later, joke about lust in the quiet. He'd rub my back, just misplace a stroke. His specs steamed up. Her hand gives firm flannel scrubs, a proper routine for cleansing, no slippery lingering. I soak my slack berry, caress my chest, I reach for less and less. Too much of me is out of touch. The tap runs tepid for thin limbs. I hold up my arms when told, and flesh strains from bone in folds. These legs have stood me proud, fine lined with veins, purple stained, floating on water though I walk in pain. Carers chat as people do in queues, sharing this view, that piece of news. I note the student watching us. Their young joints hoist my weight. This small towel softens with my wetness. No other body shares its cleanness. My clothes are ordered, a uniform pile. I try the stiff catches, search for holes, and rely on strange hands, a looser style. Yeah. And this one, shaping up to appear in the North magazine. Strange how some days fall into shape, the slide of jersey silk, the caress of supple leather, the warmth of a second skin. In Rome, I rested elbows on a counter, unfurling my hand for an Italian. She loved her work, fitting the gift of yellow gloves, palms stroking down smooth to the wrist, close as a promise and snug as a ring. Such instants slip the V of each finger fold, constant leaks, becalmed in memory. And images of last dreams ripple our dreams, a smile, certain songs are hats worn for fun. We miss our people when they leave a room, as if readying ourselves for normality to end. And I want the words to stay the time, the skill to be present, hold the hour. How can a moment measure up enough to take the inadequate day for granted, give pause as easily as a remote control? Throughout the routine days, I ask if some habit will remain a task when the next change comes. We are lost, speculating the waste in the past. Our friends are calling, willing us to move on. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chris, and congratulations. And well done, and thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, where we go next? No, they're not there. So we will welcome back. It's been a while, but I understand it's a god awful early hours of the morning. Michael Collins.
Yes, thank you, Finn, and thank you for welcoming me to this event. It's a wonderful event, and I appreciate it. This is written very recently, and it's about a very recent experience, like Friday night, and hopefully getting through it rather well. Anyway, I'll begin. Too terrified for the full treatment, too fearful of possible consequences that in reality were in all probability never going to happen. I spoke to a staff member. She said, they are running it down in England, and they will do it here too. And she is right. Cuts incremental until we are forced to say it is not working anymore. It is failing. It has no credibility. It is not safe anymore, and so on. Their kindness was palpable. Professional? Yes, perhaps, but real, at least to me, in my time of need. And the procedure itself, it went well. I expect no serious problems, and will no doubt be fine. The doctors were great. The nurses were great. Even if they all looked about 14, they chatted about everything. Mentioning my procedure as required. They talked about heroes. A mountain climber, for example, who conquered every peak above some magical height, who on his way down from one such peak saved a climber who could not go the distance. A hero? For saving a life, yes. For climbing mountains endlessly, maybe not. Unless such a feat is a spiritual quest and not so much ego and adrenaline. So the stenting went well. The bypass would have too, except my fear would not allow it. Now I have to be careful. More careful than before with my lifestyle. And heroes are every day, everywhere, doing their job and doing it well. And 'tis they who are real, especially in these days. And to those who would run down the health system, the education system, and privatize our world, you can all go to hell in a handbasket. The public should not be betrayed by the private. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Michael. That, yeah, sentiments agreed from this side of the world as well. Yeah, it's something that's happening in many places. They try to screw us over, screw the health services over everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah, we're being screwed over.
it's just awful. It's just awful. Especially when countries like that and ours have sort of good, great health services and stuff, and they just want to make fucking money out of it instead of making healthy people out of it.
That's right.
Makes me angry. Thank you. And I can't get angry tonight. I don't feel well enough, funny enough. Thank you. All right. Well, next up, we've got two more people before we come to a feature spot. So would you please welcome, from before, but it's not for a while, Sophie.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Sophia Behar. I run the podcast Poets Unplugged. And for this reading, I would like to invite you guys all to download our application, our mobile phone application, the Poetry Advent Calendar. And how this project was born, it was basically, we from Poets Unplugged want to bring poetry, yeah, I almost saw it, want to bring poetry to every doorstep. So we thought about different ways on how to get the poetry to everybody. And so we came up after a couple of glasses of wine, we came up to produce a mobile phone application so that the poetry is only one step away from you, directly on your phone. So we published the application, and there are how many poets in here? 4 others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 other poets. It's Dennis Morris, Frog Corpse, Carrie Magnus Radner, that we know, everybody knows her pretty well, I think. Mike Turner and Aldo Quagliotti have produced this Advent calendar. I don't know, it's really hard to see, I suppose. It's as well as publication available on Amazon. So, and I wanted to read you guys, I'm not sure if everybody knows what an Advent calendar is. An Advent calendar is something, a calendar that you count the days, the December days till Christmas Eve. And we have for every day a little present, and that would be a poem in this case. And I'm gonna read day 2 and day 4 and day 5. So day 2. I'm like a special star you once knew. In blue, it grew at Q. From me to you, bright like you are, is solely the North Star. Thank you. Here's a funny poem as well, so that you get a little bit the feeling of the application. Day 4. No snow, no ho-ho, no Santa, and Winnie gives a poo. Oh, what now? Oh, what will we do when I feel it's Christmassy around you? Thank you. And day 5. Christmas on the door knocking, children sweet cookie baking, 19 nights left for heavenly sleeping. Christmas Day, Santa awaiting, seeing him the sleigh riding, all night across the world flying, all night till the morning, if we don't forget celebrating. Thank you very much. And yeah, you can find the Poetry Advent Calendar in your app store, in your mobile app store for iPhone and Android phone. I will write it in the chat, the Poetry Advent Calendar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sophia. Thank you. I have it. I don't know. I was reading along with you as you were doing that. So
thank you.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome back. Moving on now. So I hope the man's ready. Sir, Lantern Carrier, taking us into the feature point.
Thank you. Online hate. Hate begins within, in the seed of night. A lit candle will not manifest darkness. A radiant flower will only express the light. The searchlight of love must light the path into the minds of tangled webs. Online spite may evoke disdain, yet its heart is in the true citadel that deals with searing pain. It is safer and cleverer to shout from home than to engage in a face-to-face at Sainsbury's. While the weak may never bully the strong, the insecure will even attack their shadows. True greatness reveals itself in the solitude of those who love. Opinions, opinions, opinions. My thoughts run riot as restless monkeys prance. Poem 2, The Storyteller. They say I'm a storyteller, that I carve words into metaphors, similes, and images, as if blessed with the eloquence of goddess Saraswati herself, basking in the beauty and grandeur of the celestial regions. I say I'm a creative, a spontaneous child who just wishes to pull at the lapis lazuli of moonlit rays, bathing the light in a meadow of supernal splendor, to dine at nights with fireflies and stars. In my naivete, we'll laugh merrily together, whisper to Orion while admiring its brilliance, dance with the shooting nebulae of heaven. They say that anxiety, loneliness, and insecurity play a big part in the challenges of life's burdens. I agree, but I see that perusing the future and fear of the unknown are just as troublesome adversaries. A visionary once said, planners, planners, you humans are always planning. Love never plans. So I grabbed hold of the future, sliced it on my lap into segments of the here and now, each piece a pawn in a game of chess, rejoicing not knowing what the next moment would bring. Someday I'll be checkmated. For now, I'm too busy watering my seeds, giving them the necessary sustenance, even while attracting the humility and benevolence of the glistening sun, so that sooner or later, I'll have a bumper harvest. I'm like a wayfarer in a maze of alluring labyrinths, a seafarer, one who prefers, for now at least, to be a lost child of the Divine Mother. I know by faith that there is a golden show that when I cry or truly knock, that love will come running towards me with a concern, like Mom did. Yet my breath delights in the serenity of the aquamarine waters, even as my sense of adventure does in the marvel of boisterous waves, the melody of seagulls dancing with horizons, the fast-fading crimson glow of an evening sunset. I like my go-karts to be at the top of the hill, oiled and ready to go. Then I become like Lewis Hamilton, not forever thinking of the risks, just darting out in a flash as soon as they wave the checkered flag. If ever I do anything, it is to increase my intensity in the trust of the Most High. This way I can enjoy the ride, bewitched by the thrills that I have done my best, living the results of victory on defeat, to love. They say that I'm a storyteller, that I use puns, play on words, rhyme like Shakespeare, is as profound and sublime, like the mystic Rumi himself. Perhaps the latter is correct, for love caresses my heart in solitude, stabbing it with intimacy, tenderness, resplendence, and sweetness, using me to offer its light to despairing souls in this field of worldliness and sorrow. Lantern Carrier, thank you.
Ooh,
Oh, thank you, schön. Thank you, schön, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure. All right, we've come to a feature spot now. We'll get read his bio as it's given to me. Genralissimo Bryan Francoo was a gay, Jewish, 55-year-old poet, spoken word performer from Brunswick, Maine. He was a member of the Portland, Maine rhythmic Cypher Slam team that competed in the 2014 National Poetry Slam in Oakland, California. His poetry is published in US, Australia, Ireland, and Scotland, and is featured for poetry events and podcasts in US, Canada, England, Ireland, and Scotland. He hosts Cafe Genralissimo Open Mic, is a member of the Beardo Bards of the Bardo, painter, sculptor, gardener, and in his words, culinary genius. So would you please welcome Genralissimo Bryan Francoo.
Well, I must say that I am a bit out of breath from Leonard Carrier's last poem. It was just so beautiful. There were little twists and turns, and I felt like I wanted to cry, but I didn't cry, but it was so beautiful. It really was. You always do that.
Thank you.
With your poetry. You know, what a wonderful crowd we have tonight. What great poetry in the first half. And my God, the people that haven't gone yet are so amazing. That I see in the crowd. I just can't wait to hear the second half. But, you know, I just came out with my book, Everything I Think Is All in My Mind. Here, I'll put it up for you so you can see it. And, you know, I think if you read this little thing I just put in the chat, it tells you how to order it on PayPal. It says PayPal or Venmo, but I do prefer PayPal to Venmo because Venmo is kind of hard to use. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading, and I'm going to be reading from the book itself tonight. Well, actually, you know what? First, I'm going to do 2 new pieces, I think. Where did I have those? I just wanted to do because I've been enjoying these pieces. They were written in the past week or so. The first is a true story. It's called The Eagle Next Door. I grew up in a brick split-level house on a cul-de-sac with a male magnolia tree in the front yard. When I was 15, while sweeping leaves off the garage roof, I slipped and fell onto a pricker bush. I was a bit scratched and bruised, but uninjured otherwise. Just another day on Fernhill Court. One day, my mutt, Ruff, came home with a huge cow bone in her mouth. It so happened other neighborhood canines brought back tasty bovine bones to their homes. It turned out that farmers on the edge of town had slaughtered several sick cows and dumped the bodies in a clearing called the clay pits behind the big drainage ditch, which was accessible from a dirt road. Just another day on Fernhill Court. My next door neighbor, Mrs. Anduke, aka Eagle Eye, had a British bulldog named Betty Boop that came from a long line of AKC champions. One day, a Labrador wandered in the backyard and impregnated Betty Boop. Of course, Eagle Eye had to get Betty an abortion for her future puppies, so her future puppies could have AKC papers. Just another day on Fernhill Court. Male magnolia trees do not produce flowers. Another true story. This is called What We Don't Know the Cows Know About Us. I slept so erratically, I pulled the bottom right-hand corner off the contour sheet from my bed. It was a cold enough morning for me to spend an extra 2 or 3 minutes soaking in the hot of the shower. I dried off, dressed, took my morning pills, ate a banana, and grabbed a cup of hot tea. I drove to the Saturday farmer's market. No one was there because it was Monday. There were 3 cows grazing in the field across the road. They weren't looking at me, but I knew they were looking at me when I wasn't looking at them, aware of the mistake I had made, telling one another, look, another human being who forgot what day it was. And now I'm going to just read from my book. And I'm going to start with the first page, which is called A Slew of Haiku. It's 6 haikus. The last 2 actually have titles. 1, The meaning of life is not about breathing, but deciding to breathe. 2, cynicism is an acquired attitude. No one is born that way. 3, optimism is more than just an idea. It can be mantra. 4, embrace your crazy. Who you are is who you are. You are a human. 5, figurative life vest for sale. When it rains and rains, my mind sends me to places perfect for drowning. 6, the worms can't do all the work. Teach a man to fish, and he might not have patience to wait for a fish. The next poem is a word that I created myself. It's called, in the title, it's called Distression. I feel distress, or is it stress? Maybe I'm distressed because I'm stressed and possibly depressed, but I've been so depressed so much, sometimes I'm oblivious to the fact that I'm depressed, which is distressing and quite stressing and inevitably depressing, which I can only qualify as stressful and distressful and a little too full of anything I want anyway. Next poem is called The Coverman Cometh. I am a champion cyclist, not bicycles, emotions. I do it all. Ups, downs, inside outs, round and rounds, hills, valleys, twists, turns, loop-de-loops, and half pipes. I actually bore a hole through a solid granite mountain to create a shortcut I used only once. Yes, I am a champion cyclist. My face has been on the cover of Psychology Today thrice. For the 3 times I have won the Tour de France by simply riding out anxieties. When my Liberty Bell cracked. Most people I know it has happened to say it happened to them sooner than it happened to me, and it happened to me quite late in life, so they say. Yes, they say, and they are the proverbial they. According to the woman who gave birth to me after 22 hours of labor, she doesn't recall it happening to me, or she doesn't want to admit she recalls it happening to me, so she says, and she is a proverbial she. Every adult's mother will always be a proverbial she. But I say, yes, I am the proverbial I say it happened when it happened. It happens to all types of people every day. When it happens to each person is at a point in their life called the present, not later, not sooner. So it happens when it happens. It can only happen when it's anyone's time for it to happen. It can happen to anyone at any time, which makes everyone a little bit the same as everyone else, as much as everyone is different from everyone else. Philosophy by Popeye the Sailor Man, or because I lost my birth certificate doesn't mean I was never born. It's true. I'm certifiable, a fact undeniable. Since I know myself better than anyone else, the source is reliable. Subversion therapy for me is not viable. So say what you want to say. I look in the mirror every day. What I see is always me. I am what I am, what I am. I was born this way. A fact I can't change or rearrange. There are others like me on land and swimming the seas. They aren't afraid to be loud about being proud about whom they were born. Despite certain scorn, they walk tall and never fall from the words of others who, despite their druthers, will look in their mirrors every day, only to see someone born that way. The world's greatest invention. My attention span is somewhat defective. My shrink says I don't look people in the eyes when I talk. Also, I purposely pretend to not listen when I listen, so when I say something, others won't be listening to what I say. It's as if that overly cushy pleather couch is a human-sized external disk drive wirelessly wired to his note-taking laptop so he can run a mental virus scan on me. The patent for that invention must be worth millions of dollars, maybe even billions. This is why I drive an hour and a half each way for a 50-minute appointment every other week. And I'm gonna skip to a different section in the book. I'm trying to read more shorter poems this time around so I can get more poems in. They call me Hurricane Brain. All my nerves are last nerves. Finality exists as faulty serotonin snipers missing targets trying to hit bullseyes. They attempt to cross the bridge, but the bridge was cut open by a Category 5 hurricane, now sitting broken in Mobile Bay with a 1/8 mile gap, concrete, asphalt, and rebar at the bottom of the bay where crabs used to crawl. The engineers must decide whether it is feasible to repair rather than replace, but according to the science of bridge architecture, once a bridge breaks, no Band-Aids or plaster casts can put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Hills are but a tool in an intricate toolbox, serving as Band-Aids for broken bridges, where serotonin tries to connect us to happiness, but can't always curtail the most common disease in the world, which consists of lost nerves with finality. Bridge burners lament. Is it possible to burn a bridge without lighting a fire, without accelerant to spread the flames? Is it possible to burn more than one bridge at a time, bridges that live miles away from each other? Can bridges be so easily burned to a crisp with one bad decision? Can one bad decision cause time-consuming daily detours that cease being detours, transforming into permanent extended commutes? The New Age arsonist burns down necessary structures with words and attitudes. And unfortunately, ashes cannot be used to resurrect the past. Ashes composed of carbon black will linger in the air and likely lead to asthma and lung damage. Of course, the arsonist never intended to burn bridges. Of course, the river will still exist. New bridges will get built, and people crossing those bridges when they come to them will cross them as if they were always there. But their breathing will be plagued with asthmatic wheezes and constant coughs through lungs scarred by someone else's bad decision. This is called Forgiven. I want to write a poem about forgiveness, but I am not sure it will qualify as a poem. Maybe it will just be a list of regrets of how I have chosen to live my life. I am unsure if I am capable of forgiveness. I am unsure if I understand what this word is, besides powerful and confusing. Is forgiveness an idea, a construct, an act of contrition? When I forgive someone else, do I also need to forgive myself for finding myself in a situation that might have been beyond my control? Must I feel guilty for not giving closure to someone who has wronged me? Am I allowed to forgive and not forget? Or will that just be lip service to a word that is so arbitrary in its parameters, it needs to be seen as an idea or construct? Is forgiveness an all or nothing deal? Is total forgiveness achievable? Can there be levels of forgiveness? Does it exist on a spectrum? Does it exist on a spectrum? Does it exist on a spectrum? Forgiveness, you exist in my vocabulary, but I have yet to define you. I shall try to write a poem about you so you can exist in totality. How to turn your home into an indoor amusement park. When dizzy happens, you might sit or lie down to stop the room from spinning. But when life continues to spin out of control, everything that seems to be on a forward trajectory can act as a doorstop for everything else. Your overwhelmness becomes a tumor hidden beneath your skin no one knows about unless they touch you. But you successfully block touch by allowing unlimited Reiki while denying fingertip access with a level of deftness that has them avowing how smooth your skin is. The fog released from the breath of your words is a barrier that blocks their sense of touch from knowing it has not achieved touching. You can be as disoriented as possible while tricking the world your life is an Olympic perfect 10 balance beam routine because the gymnast on the beam is a hired ringer with your face temporarily tattooed to theirs. Every room in your house is a different dizzying ride. Playground roundabout, spinning teacups, tilt-a-whirl, G-force astronaut training exercise. You think if you practice enough, you'll become dizzy tolerant. But when you're punch drunk dizzy, more often than not, your tolerance will only be visible in the funhouse mirror you use while shaving away yesterday's bad decisions every new today in which you find yourself existing. So you've been banned from every bowling alley in the world. Your laser sharp tongue that has cut so many people from your life can precisely skin and fillet any fish in existence. All types of bones from all types of meats are fair game when you open your mouth and wield that hand-forged Japanese steel samurai sword of communication. The bowling ball your eyeballs transform into when you roll your eyes at anyone who disagrees with you are perfect ammunition for your conversational catapult of insults and know-it-allism. After 2 gold medals in biathlon, you retire your rifle and crossbow for a less conventional arsenal to defend your compulsive, obsessive social network of a life from real connection. All your admirers are impressed with your acumen for accuracy with weaponry, but those skills make your friends a bit reticent to invite you to Thanksgiving dinner, Sunday supper, or even to care for their pet when they leave for a weekend. One day you will die. Those who know you well will decide how you are remembered. Your ability to stir up a hornet's nest where no hornet's nest ever existed defines what happens when you show up, unsheath your sword, open your mouth, causing everyone else to bleed anxiety. When you wield your words and actions as an elaborate imaginary armory rather than courtesy and kindness, what others understand about you will not be what you want to be remembered for. Proper irrigation techniques for high wire trees. There have been times I have continued to cry after my tear ducts ran dry. Almond and avocado farmers hire water well drillers that use deep sea oil exploration drills to tap previously untapped aquifers. The Earth's water is not an infinite resource. Farmers dig deeper and deeper every year, yet I still continue to cry after my tear ducts ran dry. Unlike the Earth, I will never run out of emotions. I won't deny myself a good cry, which is my equivalent of a balancing bar for an unrepentant high wire act life. I understand that my personal aquifers are a limited resource. I understand I can't keep drilling till I hit nothing or maybe cry a little magma. But crying on the inside is an option that has never worked out, and I can choose to let the high wire exist without attempting to ever cross it again. That one's a little easier said than done. The Afterlife of a Tear. Oh, this one was published in the Moonstone Arts 25th Annual Poetry Inc. anthologies. The Afterlife of a Tear. Every tear I cry tears a hole in my brain to reserve a place for a memory to reside. Sometimes certain memories decide to burrow a little farther than others, so when they get remembered, they have to be triggered. Sometimes someone will commit a crime against me I forgot I had previously experienced, and I see the previous perpetrator's face and the current perpetrator's face, which might make me scream loud enough to make them go deaf. There are memories we want to remember forever. There are memories not consequential enough to keep forever. Then there are memories that hide away in their burrowed holes that leave permanent residue in our souls called trauma. Because you have nothing to be jealous about, allow me to introduce myself. They say my skin is green, but I ain't no Kermit the Frog. I am Miss Piggy incarnate. Honestly, my skin has no color, not even black or white. I will be your best friend if you let me. Of course you will, because the enticing aroma of my pheromones is akin to carbon monoxide, except there ain't no little box you can put in your basement or wire to your heart or soul to detect me. When we show up at a social event, I promise to make you the life of the party. If we don't get invited back, it's their loss. We got each other's backs and all that. Our shit don't stink. Our farts are made of carbon monoxide. My toxicity has never killed anyone. The more of me you breathe, the more I will be your persona. We are all born pugilists. We fight and we fight We punch and we punch. Sometimes we think we have wrapped our hands and put on gloves to look down to bear witness to bare knuckles. Sometimes there is no punching bag in front of us. There is just air. There is nothing in front of us for our fist to connect with, yet the empty before us feels like punching a brick wall. We exit our mother's wombs, kicking and screaming. We are born fighting to enter this world. Some of us continue to fight the rest of our lives. We don't understand why we must always fight. Sometimes we don't realize we are fighting when we think we are just breathing and surviving. We allow bullies, bosses, abusive lovers to narrate our truths with psychological and chemical warfare. They speak the language of mustard gas with words that burn through our self-esteem. For some of us, the act of waking up includes installing brass knuckles into our vocal cords so our words become weapons of mass protection. For some of us, our silence is self-flagellation for allowing others to guide the pens with which we write our lives. So we must relearn to wrap our hands again and wear the gloves we were born wearing when we kicked and screamed our way into this world, so we don't have to write our futures with our gloves on. What's in the rear view belongs in the past. Do you live life as if you are driving in an infinite traffic jam surrounded by ghosts, as if you are a Ford Pinto that will explode if hit from behind, and your past is a garbage truck manned by a drunk driver? You look in the rear view. History is aggressively tailgating you, honking loudly. You switch lanes to let it pass, but it decides to hang to your left to flip you off. The odors of every lesson you've learned and every mistake you made wafts their way into your psyche. You are aware this is a ghost garbage truck. You pull forward, switch lanes directly in front of us and stop in front of it and stop short. Its ghostly phantasma passes through your Pinto and dissipates into another universe. Your psyche decides you are no longer a Pinto, but a cross-town local bus that may not always be on time, but gets you where you need to go and a few places you never expected. I'm going to do one more piece from the book. It's called Them Who Conspire Against People with Feet, and then I'll do one more poem. I believe there is a conspiracy afoot between the manufacturers of shoes and the makers of shoelaces. Every time I buy new shoes, I tie them. There always seems to be at least a foot of shoelace left on each shoe. I double knot them, yet there is still enough shoelace left over that it is inevitable that I will step on them. Anyone who has stepped on a double knotted shoelace knows the bow gets pulled out, leaving an extremely tight knot that can only be unknotted by using a tiny screwdriver or the tine of a fork to unpretzel the impossible pretzel. New shoelaces can cost upwards of $3 or $4. What a profit margin. Enough, I believe, for certain shoe manufacturers to get their kickbacks. And I just want to go ahead. I haven't done this poem in such a long time. And what? Hold on. Maybe, oh, that's why. The short poem. It's called Lady Poetry. Poetry, it's no secret you are a woman. You are the goddess of midwifery. Each poem I give birth to births something inside my soul I never knew existed. Poetry births emotions, tears, laughter, anger, and confusion. Poetry births outrage, protest, justice, and humanity's ability to cure society's ills. Poetry births voices that do not know they were capable of eliciting everything poetry births. Poetry births words from minds that never knew they could communicate something visceral. Poetry births poets who read and hear poetry created by other poets, then find poetry inside their minds that will be read or heard by others who will create their own poetry, creating an infinite loop of other people creating poetry. Push, 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 push. One more. You can do it. Push! Congratulations. You've given birth to a poem. Gracias, everyone.
Woo! All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you
Unmute
very
yourself.
much.
Brian. That's great.
Bravo, Brian. Bravo.
Unmute yourself and a round of applause for Brian Francoo. Awesome stuff, sir.
Some of your most powerful work that I've heard today, I think.
Well,
You really.
thank you. And you know what you can do? You
Buy
can,
the book.
You can buy this book right here. That's right. And guess what? Thank you very much, Finn Hall, for having this event for me and letting me listen to everyone else that's already read and will read again. And also, again, I'm putting everything in the chat again, and I'm also going to put all my future. I've got a lot of things coming up because I've just released this book that I want to sell. So, thank you, everyone, again.
All right. Thank you very much, Brian. Thank you. And go buy the book. It is a good book. I was reading it while he was doing it, so it was even better seeing it that way too. Thank you very much. We're going to take a 10-minute break now. It's 8:45. So we'll be back at 5 to 9 with Ian and Andy Ann and Nick. Thank you.
Rest.
Gotta run all. Stay safe and well. Geez, I'm stumbling over words. Who can imagine?
Hope you're not hungry too or dehydrated, Henry. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. What's going on? Is Finn gone somewhere?
Who?
Finn.
Well, he's traditional. For him, rest is rest.
Oh, we're in the middle of break. Sorry, I kind of just came on expecting everybody to be in the middle. I didn't realise we were on a break. I'm sorry. I kind of thought something happened to Finn. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'll turn my mic off and shut up. Okay.
Where's Finn got to?
It's a break period.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought that.
All right, we're back. With a quick trailer there. Yeah, recovering from that amazing set from Genralissimo. That was a great set there. Let's just get straight on with the second half, though, with Ian Mac.
Okay. Am I good to go then, Finn? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was going to say thanks to Finn for giving me little breathing space after the Generalissimo set. That was a tough one to follow, I think. And I just have to ask the question: was it a boy or a girl? Generalissimo. Never mind it.
I believe it was a poem.
Oh, good.
So poems don't have gender. They're not even gender fluid. They're just poems because they're made of words.
A nice bouncing baby poem then.
It's an American poem, see, because foreign languages have gender to their language, but in America we don't do that.
Same in English, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to do this first one. Is I think all these three I don't think I've performed before. First one is called Blind Faith. If you just close your eyes, you can make everything disappear. Put it out of sight and mind. You won't even hear a thing if you stick your fingers in your ears. Just wish it all away and wash your hands of all that shit. No fuss, no need to shout. Your problems will all vanish. No more strife or worries left to care about. If you just shut your mind off, put up a wall of silence stretching from ear to ear, you can make it all go away, bury it deep inside your head, banish all those fears. You can carry on all day and night, and with a little perseverance, keep it up for years. In fact, if you're so determined, if you're so inclined, you can make the whole world vanish. Spend the rest of your days in the darkness of your ignorance, remaining willfully blind. Cheers. And second one is called Another Case of Deja Vu, the jazz accompaniment, number 3. A lover who is always leaving, a singer who's forgotten the score, a thread that has stopped weaving. This is the world turned upside down, and the victims return to the scene of the crime, always begging for more, and more of the same old business as before. And this is the way the world turns, and this is the turn of the screw, and this is the same old Groundhog Day. Just another case of deja vu. Just one more twist in the plot, just one more lame excuse, just one more drink for the road, and then history keeps on repeating itself, and the lessons never get learned. And each time I try to escape from the trap, my fingers always get burned. Cheers. And this is the final one. This is fairly recent. I just finished, wrote it a couple of months ago, and I've not read it out to anyone before. It's called Turning Over New Leaves, after Walt Whitman. I love myself. I love the very essence of being me, every atom, every nerve ending, each sinew that stretches as I move and articulate myself into the being, the feeling, the doing, the very nature of being me. I am at my most easy, being at my ease, existing as myself, doing as I please, so long as it does not impinge on the freedom or happiness of others, respecting each one's place. I freely breathe in the smells that hang in and perfume the air that surrounds me without discrimination or sense of judgment. Everything is as it is, though I distinguish between those that I find favorable and those less pleasing to my senses. It requires an inevitable acceptance of the world as it is. I can do nothing to change the sway of winds, the tectonic movements and natural course of Earth's rumbling evolutions, though I may hope in some small superficial way do what I can to aid my fellows. But then I drink in all passing sensory eventualities, not shying away from the challenges that confront us all, seeking out the distillation of that life force that energizes my willfulness, my predilections, my sense of being in this world that entices me in with its wonders and delights. Each blossom that ripens into succulent fruit, each entity that catches my eye, enchants my senses, astounds my imagination with each turning of the kaleidoscopic richness of their variety and wholesome beckoning. They feed my appetites, fill me up to the top with the sap of nature's fullness, its very gift of life. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. Always a pleasure to have you here too, sir. Thank you very much. All right, Andy N.
Evening all people, Andy N in the house from Manchester, of course. I co-run the Night Good Speakeasy, which will be started up again on Zoom in January, but we also do the live one, which is the first Thursday in the month in Cheltenham Pond Hardy. I also got a podcast called Spoken Label. I'll put the links in later. So. Okay, I'm going to do you a couple of Christmas bits of flash fiction tonight. And just to cheer Finn up, the further they go along, the ruder they get. So I know how much Finn likes it when I get rude. So first one's the gentle one, and it'll get progressively more dirty. I'll warn you, okay? So the first one is a new piece, actually, especially for tonight. And this is called Left Early. Swirling all over the sky, you were sure you saw Father Christmas out there when you began to see a number of broken white lines all over the heavens for a few seconds before Melissa cut in. That's impossible. Father Christmas doesn't exist. How old are you? Ian said 9, just to annoy her, but instead answered saying, okay then, if it's not Father Christmas, what is it up there? I don't know, she responded, looking at the white lines and getting more and more complex into the purple skies. Perhaps a small airplane or a helicopter. I've never seen them do that before, you said. No airplane or helicopter could do that many twists and turns without crashing. I give up then. She flung her arms up in the air. I don't bloody know. I suddenly stuck a flashlight on a few swallows and set off a rocket next to them, just to scare them. Not quite. A deep voice coughed from behind them. Melissa, he said, turning around. What? She turned around then swore twice. Yes, unusual, Father Christmas answered. They've gone off early without me, ungrateful little sods. You poor man, Melissa said. Can we call you a taxi or something? That's a good idea, he smiled. Can I use your phone? 2 cups of warm hot chocolate, the sleigh taxi arrived, and they never saw him again. Okay, that's the gentle piece. Now we'll get onto something a bit more coarse, okay? And what I like about this night is anything goes, and it's a good job sometimes. The next 2 I'm going to do. Okay, this next one is a true story, but it didn't happen to me. And this is called End of the Night. And it's from a book, actually. Me and Amanda just bought out, the wife, called The Snow Was All We Could See. End of the night. We met towards the end of an early Christmas party after my brother booked our taxi and you knocked on the front door, apologising to Melissa for being so late. It's okay. I smiled, sort of thing I would do in between their conversations, as my brother looked at me in surprise, almost like he knew her. I wasn't sure about coming along, she continued. I didn't know if you would still be there so late, but I just needed somebody to talk to. I didn't know what she was talking about as I watched her chat to Melissa, and neither did Pete. Rick, the taxi is due in 5 minutes, he called out from the living room. I shook my head. Give me 5 more minutes. Of course, 5 turned into 10, and I ended up staying until 4 a.m., then walked back to her house half a mile away. You didn't have to do this, she said as we arrived at her front door. That's true. I could have other motives, I laughed. Good, because I certainly do, she kissed me. Her husband arrived back from his shift 4 hours early at 11 a.m. I bet the bus driver still has nightmares about me getting on the bus with my pants dangling over my arms to this very day. And to conclude, okay, this is also from The Snow Was All We Could See. And this one is ruder. This one is a true story again, and this did happen to me, but I wasn't responsible for what happened. Secret Santa. She divorced him in August. Everybody in the office knew. By the time Secret Santa came round, everybody dreaded getting her name after all the bad mouthing she said about her ex in the restroom every break at lunchtime. I hope I don't get her, Andy said. I wouldn't want to know what to buy her. I'm not doing it for drawing name, Amanda threatened. You can't win either way. Be kind to her, Reggie chipped in. The poor woman has just come out of a 20-year marriage. I sat next to her in the pub and at Works Do the other month, Mike said. She was a frigging nightmare. I have never seen anybody so frustrated. Antonia drew her name out of her hat, and Sarah told everybody in the restroom with relief. She bought a vibrator and changed her handwriting. They had to call the police at the end of the day, the following week after everybody had passed their presents round, when they thought somebody had left a bomb in the bin outside. And that's me done for the night, guys. See you later.
Yeah, that's the bomb. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. All right, who's next? It's Nick.
Great to share a platform with you, Andy. Nice to see you, mate. Right, I've got.
You too, mate.
Cheers. I've got 3 poems that I've written this week for a book that I'm working on called Talking to Myself, and that are 2 brief interludes. Each of them a very short Christmas poem. 1 10 words, 1 11 words. So that's what you get. Let's start. I've got prostate cancer. It's low level and I've had it for about 4 years, but it's a fucking alien inside me and I don't like it. So I wrote this to cheer me up. It could be worse. I could be a refugee, mid-med and in distress. I could be unable to send out an SOS. I could be in ICU with none allowed access. I could have my vital signs becoming less and less. I could be on trial for crimes with no chance of success. I could tell my legal team I'm ready to confess. I could be so ignorant, my best bet is to guess. I could lose at everything from pub quiz through to chess. I could be the focus of indulgence and excess. I could have whole hordes of press plaguing my address. I could be without a job quite simply due to stress. I could spiral steeply down my whole life in a mess. I could be the only no to everybody's yes. I could be the epicenter of unhappiness. I could be a monster, but I don't just mean Loch Ness. I could be the pits by which I really do mean cess. I could be a part of some unspeakable process. I could be the sort of soul that Satan might possess. I could be the living ghost of Hitler, Himmler, Hess. I could be some pedo priest the Pope's about to bless. I could be the populist dictatorship suppress. I could be this planet in its fossil fuel caress. Here's the first short poem for Christmas. It's called A Christmas Carol. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel. And here's how to be an Englishman. Get drunk and stoned and wrecked. Adopt an aggressive stance. Talk football or the weather whenever you've the chance. Hate everything that's foreign, especially from France. Be clumsy and quite useless at sex and at romance. Expect the worst of outcomes. State your case in advance. Be sick of kissing arses. Make judgments at first glance. Complain as loudly as you can in every circumstance. Shun all style and fashion, and dear God, don't try to dance. And here's your second Christmas poem. This is the 11-word one, so it's a lot longer than the 10-word one. It's called It's a Christmas Tree. Someone stole my crisps. Who? No one knows. It's a crisp mystery. God, I love shit puns. Here's the last one. This is darker. It's called After the Party. Dead as the iced wind, which comes winter blown to snow-bound gardens from which birds have flown. Love enlists the lawns that you've left unmown, stripping their borders of all that they've grown. Love rings and rings like a lost mobile phone. Pick up the call, you'll get the dialing tone, telling you you're useless, there on your own, quietly playing your lone saxophone. Love's like Latin, it's a language little known. Its poems languishing in monotone, translating only as a fading drone, softer than meat that's been stripped from its bone. Love's a lingo too. Listen, hear it moan, hear its timbers creak, hear its girders groan. Deflowered beds reek of eau de cologne in bare rooms where bodies were turned to stone. I'm done. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, I needed them. That cheered me up. So that was brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. All right, there we go. Mr. Richard Spessard.
Thank you, Finn. Thank you. And I like to always say something special to all these wonderful poets, but I'm going to break my rule tonight. I am instead going to focus my ire, focus my irony, and focus my joy on one particular poet that we all know and love. I'm going to ask you to join me in a small tribute to our brother Finn. Finn, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah.
Brave. Brave.
Hoorah, hoorah.
All right, Finn. Okay.
So now I want to read you a fresh tribute to our brother Finn. It's called Gentle Without and Wise Within. I sing to you of our brother Finn. That is our generous brother Finn, a princely man of the rolling hills and blustery beaches, whose grand soul reaches like his cab 100,000 stomping, romping, perilous places, and always with his own gracious traces. Our fabulous, fine, furry Finn, great without and within, who so like the mighty doctor, modest and pretty as a blue box on the outside, yet is bigger than thin within. This great heart and massive brain can scarce contain all the funny, fine, fabulous thoughts, those zots and zing from his thinking cap outsized, without, within. The Finn Hall that we know, and I told you so, had such a reach in his unplain, uncontainable brain that I say celebrate in his name his mighty feast for those who know, and we love him so, for just the very special that is his fine Finnish heart, generous. And that's not the least of it. He's helpful and kind. He'd readily share a generous piece of his wise, ripe mind. And like Ulysses of old, he knows where Priam holds his gold. He'll breach the wall, bestow the scrolling, drolling mall of his mighty banqueted buffet and stall, and taxi stand all night and all day, if need be, as he serves the poets up from his mighty generous heart and cup, they sup. He serves them up, and uplifting all this fine Finn hall. Thus, making space for the very least of uneven, unseasoned these who sputter and wheeze athwart the mighty shot, the blot, that these might entertain with their musings and breeze, he'll offer his great and gentle brain, and like the sprinkle of a warm spring rain, coaxes the very best from all the rest. The young poet who's yet to flower and bloom is always welcome to Finn's fine blotted room. Even the esteemed and well-endowed and dreamy deemed senior who declaims of ancient forests and long fabled fame, thence his brother Finn who bids them flower by the minute, yea, by the hour. Finn favors them with a slot at his sparkling famous blot, and as he welcomes his peerage, his knighthood's round royal table to all the wannabe bards who wandering into his spacious, special, yet well-seasoned yard. And when he speaks, the air fairly reeks of royal calm, the balm to every tremulous, trembling youth. Forsooth, long will the fame of these fabulous hours be sung, when once you shared his generous rug, there in his ancient castle's redoubt, that generous platter spout, they will say, we attended once the royal fabled table of that sable fellow, so kind and mellow, who made room for so many. He heard out the tall and the short, the rotund and the spindly. He was ever friendly. He made room for the froth, room for the froom, the garrulous, the fabulous. He heard their brief as they told their grief, their jokes full of hope, those that never seemed to cease. All these were welcome at Finn's fine feast. Finn Hall was their friend. He nourished them all at his supple sable table, as only he, the Finn, was able. That's our Finn, with his wild and wandering ways. He's a charioteer to more than a favored lucky few who knew the noble, sober, long fabled fellow. He thrives as he guides us all, this fantastic long fable, the great favored table, the festive, well-decorated, well-fine Finn Hall. Through the streets old, new, narrow, tall, he stayed for them all, with her wandering beaches or wandering ruins with us. He'll never miss us. We crowd round his gracious table. He's always about it. He's always able. All these visions come to him. Don't ever doubt it. We all shout, Finn, Finn, Finn Hall. I hope I thoroughly embarrassed you, my brother.
Oh, no. Wow. I've got something in my eye now. Thank you. That is so. I'm glad I recorded this. Thank you very much. I'm so touched, so touched. It's wonderful. Thank you.
It's only true, brother. It's only true.
Thank you very much. I'm glad. On one hand, I'm glad I'm not feeling too great. Otherwise, we're running around the room. Too tired to do that. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I don't know what to say about that. I'm so touched. It's unbelievable. Let's move on then. Okay. Who's next? Terry.
Hello. Now for something completely different. The day after Thanksgiving, Turkey's Revenge. I don't know if it was from all the food or the general mood of dissatisfaction with the premise behind the holiday. I never experienced such pain, which woke me up from the middle of the night with a feeling that I may die while I sit patiently waiting for it to subside. While I attempt to relieve myself in vain in the bathroom, that feeling of the food that refuses to digest or release in any direction. I punch myself attempting to move the unmovable. I pray to God for relief. God answers. I am, for the moment, pain-free. Why was the turkey hating on me? And I have a Tonka. My psyche detached amidst cornucopia, that is Thanksgiving, as I dedicate turkeys, gluttonous feast run amok. And a haiku, indentured servant, a turkey without a head, libations ensue. Thank you.
Thank you. That was completely different.
Yes, it was.
We love it all. Thank you very much, Sherry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ah, my goodness me. Now, speaking of something different, here we go, all the way from Glasgow, Erin.
I have to unmute myself. Hello. Hi, I'm Erin, and it's good to see so many of you. I have what may be some new shit for people, and I have one that I'm still fucking with, and so I keep playing it live so that I can keep. I don't know. It's rough, so when I get to it, you'll be able to tell. Anyways, for some of you, you may know that I'm in school writing a long form poem rock opera about a band I was in. And so here we have, I'm going to share my screen. That is what became known as our lead guitar player, King Billy. His name was William Charles McConnell III, which we thought was ridiculous. So we called him, instead of Chip, we called him King Billy. That is King Billy's fiddle box. And he nailed it. It's like a clarinet case that he nailed all his pedals into, because I was so irritated with him. Whenever we would get on stage, he would fiddle with them too long. And it would I felt like it was ruining our stagecraft. So he fixed it by getting that old clarinet case and doing that. So I wrote a villanelle about it. King Billy's fiddle box. He kicks on that delay. It gives a millisecond for the rhythm's car crash B minor and puts a lick behind the kick drum, dressing it up nice for the rim shot. No one breaks a string. BB's taken to chicken dancing. The band, it's never been finer. His tube screamer is ready to glam it up to a glisten. It draws a line from the D that she's singing, and the harmonies are melting because the lights are so hot. He kicks in that delay, a millisecond for the rhythm's car crash B minor. Now we're going to go so slow. So King Billy, he's tapped on the analog compressor. Yep, these are tears in your beer songs, and we're giving them all we've got. No one breaks a string, and BB's taken to chicken dancing. The band, it's never been finer. Bouncing bass on the screamer just ain't enough. So now comes the chromatic tuner. Those 9-gauge strings play pointed enough, but the color, it's got to be soft. He kicks on that delay, a millisecond for the rhythm's car crash B minor. There's a thick old growl crawling into the solo, and so it drowns his opening fires. But ever so soon, they've crooned into each other like lovers, lazy lip-locked. No one breaks a string, and BB's taken to chicken dancing. The band, it's never been finer. The lick's so pretty, Mama's tambourine, her purple bruise, blood seeps so shiny, and he doesn't have to scramble because they're all lined up, tidier than tea in the fiddle box. He kicks on that delay, just a millisecond for the rhythm's car crash B minor. No one breaks a string, and BB's taken to chicken dancing. The band, it's never been finer. And then, So I have this one that I'm screwing around with too, and I have a photo that goes with it as well. So wait, I'm gonna stop share so you don't see me screwing around. Hey, desktop. Wait, there we go. Okay, and now we'll start share. So this is sort of like this poem is kind of, this picture is me by the pedal steel that we were talking by the pedal steel. I don't play the pedal steel guitar, by the way. It's a very complicated instrument. But this is called At Least I Got to Sing Sweet Virginia. Because we did, obviously we covered Sweet Virginia. That's why. None of them knows or cares, except maybe someone's listening now. It cost me Dylan, and he'd save me with his soft rain melodies. He'd worry at the lines on my forehead and my unmanicured brows. I fell at his feet. I wanted to save him. I knew we'd be able to fly. He lost me when he lost himself. And when that happened, I can't say, but I swear you guys, I don't think he even tried. So I played every game I knew how to play, and I lied and I lied and I lied. And I'll be fucked if I didn't carry the whole damn thing from ass to end and back again. I pulled the stops out for everyone so we'd all feel all right. I schmoozed the bartenders and I booked the shows and I scored the cocaine, surrounded by shysters, alone and alarmingly unhigh. I wondered, why did I create this garden to tend? Because it was more important to sing Sweet Virginia than to get laid. Somewhere in the am chords is where I lost him. Maybe he just didn't want to share, but I was calling Sweet Virginia down, asking her to jump me when we played. I laid the stage for her to conjure. We hoped when she arrived, she'd stay. The pain would bubble first through my brain, then I'd plug in and ride her waves. In case she was terrifying, in case she was soaked in ardor, in case she simply swayed. I needed the guys to keep us rocking, to shake the shame out of its frame, roll it onto the goddamn dance floor where everyone should be singing and everyone should know Sweet Virginia's name. I had places for Dylan, more tender, but when someone's not there, they can't see. So those places laid fallow, and then so grew my anger, and the cracks and the creaks underneath, I barely had a clue. There were drummers to find and new songs to teach. Like a mother of 6, I had too much to do. Singing and fucking like an angel became my job. I ripped off my scab so it would look free. I did my best to inherit the preacher. I beat myself to the greens and the blues. I fucked them as long as they came bearing booze. When I got tired of all the fucking, I was gone. I had to scrape that shit right off my shoes. So that's that. Thank you. And then this is the one that I'm actually like kind of screwing with. I think this will work. I have to play a recording there. Your little mama's boy. Okay, so could you guys hear that? It said your little mama's boy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Because I'm going to be like doing this with myself, like a recording of myself. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to turn my, wait, why don't you just go back? I hate Apple. All right. I'll turn it up for me. Okay. Here we go. Your little mama's boy. Oh, my baby. It's true. How long did you suffer? Forever aimless in the breeze. Was it she who pulled away from you? Never on mama's knees. Help me understand. Black eyes flash into mine, disappear all the time. Why I caused you so much pain. Because I don't know how this happened. And I'm feeling so ashamed. And I'm feeling so ashamed. Like an angel, you appeared. You were fucked up and shy. Like an angel, I broke you. But I'm the one who cried. And I'm the one who fell from the top of the mountain and down to the bottom of the well. It echoed, it rang, and there was no one who came. I was down there so long.
I met another
another of the same.
Oh, you mama's boy.
Oh, my baby.
Shit was all so true.
I handed everything to you.
There was nothing I could do.
Crying in a bathroom or into the microphone.
Except let go of you.
I had to let go of you. So there we go. Thank you. That was the one I'm fucking around with. I hope it was okay. Thanks for your time, everybody. I don't know why I'm clapping. I'm clapping for you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you, Erin. Christmas starts right now, that's for sure. Thank you. This is great, great stuff. That's what I love about Blot. You're never sure what you're going to get from anywhere, even people that you know so well in the scene. It's just fantastic. Thank you. All right, sir. Over to Jeff Cottrell.
Okay, so I brought with me a special Christmas poem as well. The Christmas poem in which I've decided to take a proto-feminist approach to the Sestina format while examining the male gaze as depicted in the independent Palestinian cinema of the early 1970s, as seen through a prism of Bakhtinian dialogism and post-structural Marxist theory. Nah, I'm lying. I'm doing a poem about slugs. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. Baby slugs crawling through the soil and dirt, searching for leaves and grass to feed on. Baby slugs hatching from their tiny eggs, poking out through the layers of debris. Baby slugs slithering over the moist gray rocks. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. Baby slugs looking up at the dimming sky, seeing filthy images in the cloud patterns. Baby slugs marching through the park at noon, striking fancy poses for the tourists' cameras. Baby slugs making inappropriate passes at your significant other. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. Baby slugs running around like savage maniacs, knocking over your grandfather's antiques. Baby slugs hunching over your study desk, finding new loopholes in your tax documents. Baby slugs wondering if a Motorhead reunion could work without Lemmy. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. Baby slugs looking over the group bar tab, debating if the server deserves a 10% tip. Baby slugs talking too loud at the movies, kicking the back of your seat during the big reveal. Baby slugs screaming rude words at your child's kindergarten teacher. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. Baby slugs planning a violent revolution, sparing only the people with the cleanest socks. Baby slugs plotting world domination using an egg beater, a rooster, and 5 Twinkies. Baby slugs naming the galaxies after their favorite Belgian wrestlers. Baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs, baby slugs. That was called Baby Slugs, and if you can't get enough of me, I have three gigs this month, 3 features, including this Thursday, I'm featuring at Fire and Dust on Zoom, and then I'll put all the other stuff in the chat, and I've got a book coming out maybe soon, maybe later, still kind of up in the air, but we'll see. Join the Facebook page.
Yay! Thank you, Jeff. I love baby slugs. All right. Welcome back. Supposed to be in the first half, but finally glad to made it all for Logene Superior.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm sorry I came in very late because of the timing. Yeah, I'm Laura Jane and I came from Philippines, but currently working in Singapore. So here is my poem. Yes, hold on a bit. You can also see me in Arts and Me Facebook group. I also host open mic, so I hope I can also invite everyone. It's every Saturday night. So here it goes. Rubik's Eye. Colors of different types. Images of different words. A freedom to fly. Express through colors, express through words. A freedom of thoughts. With these hands, we create. With these hands, we build. A freedom through images. What does this freedom made you? What do this freedom made you feel? In everyday images, who you will be. Oh, freedom. Yes, freedom with his hands. Okay, and the next one is, hold on, sorry. When head hits my pillow. I stay silent, lay flat, yet my mind go wander. My heart bursting with gratitude. I remember everyone. One that smiled at my silliest prank. One that shares their woes under the dark. One that lies beneath the sweetest one. They all make me feel. I remember the days where life wasn't easy for me, where death wasn't new for me, where humanity wasn't a choice, but a decision for me. It makes me feel alive. I'm no longer in a wall of facade where I have to endure things by myself. I learned to share my life, myself, my being, to those who cares. That the imperfections are not liability or flaws. I might hug them forever as one. Yet I'm letting my fear go to where its competitiveness incurred my mind and half this life. Sleeping well says, peace have arrived. Thank you, Serafine, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so glad you made it anyway. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, it's time to hand over our heads now to Gary.
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine, 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 wine. Can't the English just whine and wine? It's that time of year again. It only comes once a year. But for the other 364 days, Xmas fills me with anxiety and fear. It's not just worried about the flexible Visa card that is bent over, because even the bank manager pointed his wagging finger. Spend now. I'm sorry about this. I've only literally just written this. If that's the case, I will just blow you a kiss under some organic mistletoe and smile politely. At present, I'm looking forward to January, where I know even those wretched meerkats can be as miserable as me. Throughout, humbug, humbug, humbug. And watching adverts remind me what I have not got. I'm watching more adverts, what I've lost. Lost friends and relatives are not for sale in any of the shops. Don't get me wrong. I want you all to have a joyous time. Remember the birth of the newborn king, David Beckham. I want you to think of all those home alone. This year, come on, just half a second, whatever second. I want you to think of all those home alone. No, I'm not talking about that small practical king. I'm talking about those people who are just left alone. Why not check on them and give them a phone? You would be like Clint Eastwood and make their day. Instead of sitting on the sofa watching Top the Pops like a sack of potatoes, do it now. Well, after I've finished reading, and grab your phone, as this government won't even give a dog a bone. They might give some bacon to Pippa the pig, but hey, that's sick. Even that fat, obese bloke who goes, ho, 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 is going to be furloughed. It's Xmas time, mistletoe, and more wine, more wine, more wine. It's the only way I can get through at this time. It's time, talking about time, it's time we spend fortunes on giving a pig a blanket, wrap some pig brains on a bake and then eat it. The pig brains like such a delicacy. Why can't we, rather than give an extra blanket for somebody who needs warmth and a shelter? It's that time of year when goodwill to all men, and that's a matter, who is Will? You know, goodwill to all men, good unless you are foreign. 17 men, 3 women, 7 children. Hope to spend Christmas time in the safe land they called England. It was 1781 that 133 slaves were thrown overboard to die in the ocean. That is no different. What have we learned different? That 27 are drowning on the way to Blighty. Yet all that pretty ugly Patel do was to put it on Twitter. That's really the Christmas spirit. Oh, pissed. Hope you will be all have a Christmas time will make you feel better. That is all alive on Twitter. In other news, Santa will hope to make your time better, but in other, Santas won't be driving home for Christmas time because Mrs. Santa won't be given a visa. Yes, she's a refugee. Due to climate change, there won't be no snow in Africa. Actually, there won't be no snow in Africa this year, next year. And Rudolph the blue-nosed reindeer is now, has not been out of his closet. Because as the Fox News have said, he's queer. Yes, Rudolph the blue-nosed reindeer is queer. Finally, in this special edition, just for the Blot, 3 wise men can't be found for looking for a star. They got lost in the smog. There's no stars in the bed. In fact, we can't find 3 wise men. So forget about you ever receiving myrrh. And then there is the Christmas party. When we get together and photocopy our bums to say how merry and why we don't. But we've been told to work for home. We've been told to work. So the Christmas party, the worst Christmas party is going to be held this year. You got it, in the pantry. Yes, we're having a Christmas party in the pantry, keeping a social distance of like can of beans. The world is having a party without me. I've isolated myself so much. My invite was returned to sender unknown to someone formerly known as Gary. I'm always in the kitchen at parties, smiling, politely lonely, pretending I know everybody, including me. Now I'm locked away with the baked beans can in the pantry, inside behind the peas and the decon don't smell, and the tin of biscotti I got from the Salvation Army, man. There is the in crowd of people all feeling lost and lonely. Don't know if you heard that. We forget to, when we hear that, we turn over the channel and watch probably Corrie. There is the in crowd of people at Christmas time, all feeling lost and lonely. There's a single mum bringing up her kids the best way she can on a wing and a prayer, and really wish she was on Thunderbird Island, or was it Love Island, or Fantasy Island? But she's a single mum doing her best. There's a pinstripe dress man whose shares are down. There's a young girl worried about her Facebook pics. Could Bryan Mike is having a closing down sale. Me? I'm still doing my impressions of Eddie Murphy. Pissed as a newt because no one understands. So you're all invited to the party to sit on my photocopier in this kitchen inside the party. It's going to be the best ever Christmas party because it's going to be mental. And Merry Christmas to you all.
Woo! Thank you, Gary, and Merry Christmas to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Gary hits
Gary.
the mark again. Wow. Thank you, sir. Okay, that's Catherine.
I'm unmuting.
Yep.
I'm here. I'm trying to have something to eat. So in the past, because it's supper time here. In the past, I read a couple of my pieces that are set in Scotland. But today, I'm going to do something more contemporary. Many times poets are inspired by other poets. And so I'm going to do this piece that was inspired by one of my favorite hip hop poets who was originally from Brooklyn, Saul Williams. I'm not Saul Williams, but I'm going to do my best. So let me stand up. This is called Declaration of Independence. I declare that this is the confederation of the emancipation of the truth. And by this note, this edict, this promulgation of the law, by this article of fact, that the truth shall not leave us bare, alone, unjustified, or unwelcome. I rest my case, my head, my heart, my soul, and yes, my property, some of my friends, my mother, my father, my sisters, my brother, the neighborhood, the candy store on the corner, PS8, PS132, the church, the mosque, the temple, the stupa, the Great Spirit, Vodun, Apollo, the Druids, Osiris, and Isis. We hold the truth to be self-evident, conceived in liberty, submerged in love sublime, singing in the trees, washing the land in oceans, shedding light over democracy, autocracy, mediocrity, bureaucracy, and the wealth of nations. We take this oath that the truth shall never be untrue, shall not let us down, that we shall believe in its integrity. I dedicate this in the name of Gandhi, Buddha, Jesus, Abraham, Socrates, Aeschylus, Michael Jordan, Lazarus, Trayvon Martin, John Adams, Abigail Adams, Adam Smith, John Locke, Elizabeth I, Julia Ward Howe, Homer, Leif Erikson, not Columbus, Confucius, Voltaire, Tecumseh, Massasoit, Pocahontas, Ewell Gibbons, Dorothy, the Rainbow, the Good Witch, the Bad Witch, the goofy guy she met in the forest, Picasso, Rembrandt, Monet, Manet, Winslow Homer, the kids at the Bates School who painted signs that said thank you to the custodians, Nelson Mandela, Sacagawea, Harriet Tubman, Harry Beecher Stowe, Abraham Lincoln, Booker T. Washington, the Little Prince, Tasha Tudor, poets everywhere, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Psycho Ikeda, Joan of Arc, Bobby Sands, Seamus Haney, Wendell Berry, Jimi Hendrix, Dolly Parton, not Bill Gates. Anyone who sings, St. Francis, St. Patrick, St. Columba, Oscar Schindler, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, anyone who plays a sport, everyone who doesn't play a sport, the League of Women Voters. Anyone who has not given up. When he, she, or they were told to go away, to hide, to keep quiet, to say the right thing, to say the wrong thing, to say the same thing over and over. Anyone who stands, we will not lie down. We will take our spot and keep on being here. Thank you.
Woo. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Yes, I love that one too. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you.
One of those things you got to do.
All right. Next up, Ian.
Hi, good to see you all. Lovely sharing a space with everyone. Okay, I've been struggling what to write for this one. I'd done it yesterday. Ironically, it's one of the hardest ones I've ever done. I thought I'd write about a pub, and it's simply titled The Pub. Okay. My familiar oak door stands majestically before me. The gateway's whispers captivate my ears playfully. From within I hear 50 voices in jubilation. Their roguish orchestral exuberance once again sparks my anticipation. This pub blesses all who honour its battered oak bar with its splash of bright chandeliers and polished glasses, lighting the laughter from the diverse drinking classes. It's all happy hipsters, daters and regulars, craving a night less ordinary away from their ways of monotony. Oh, you are my playful refuge, infatuate me with your sounds. Let your cover band wrap us in the warm blues rhythm. Let her voice seduce us with notes sung from her full heart. Let us be disorientated with rapacious cheers. Let us be intoxicated by loud, unbridled laughter. These walls listen, yet will never discriminate. They hold stories of friendships sealed with secrets revealed. Join us, sip, then laugh as our inhibitions vanish. For we are all lost in the moment, nodding to the rhythm, with our ears kissed by melodies while lost in conversation. So feel your pretenses gently disappear, as I see the bottom of your shot glass appear. Be intoxicated by stories of wisdom, delivered by eloquently lined faces. Your night may be larger than life, but it's just a pub. That's the first one. The second one is an old one. I thought I wanted to do something cheerful. Some of you may have heard it before. It's called Humour. Humour, pliable yet poised to lighten life situations. Sometimes our playful ally against despondent disconnections. Sometimes our weapon forged to revive mundane situations. Sometimes our playful interruptions evoke witty disruptions. Our verbal embraces may spark colour in many mundane places. A coffee with a splash of wit sparks banter with baristas. Humour may lighten our journey while easing life's adversity. Its playful momentum may alleviate our disconnection. It's just our simple tool by design, designed to make a mournful face shine, while stealing sadness from friends, to bring hopelessness to an end. Humour, are simple yet playful gambles poised to lighten sombre festivities, while raining illuminating smiles on an evening's activities. Its power may strike those unguarded, while even abolishing hostilities, or quietly ease to strained smiles to erase irritabilities. Simply a cheeky flame of serendipity lit by the intention of verbal chivalry. But when all is said and done, humour can bring us together as one. So swap verse, listen, or even write a cheerful rhyme, let it flow, release, and have a damn good time. Thank you very much. That's me for tonight.
Cheers, Ian. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers, bud. Thank you. All right. Just moving on now. Coincidentally, when this next person sang popped into us the Zoom show tonight, we were actually talking about Woodstock. Coincidentally. Leslie.
That's a coincidence. Okay, everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to read two. This one is fairly new. It's called Stretch in Your Skin. Stretch in your skin, stretch through your skin, stretch until you cover the earth, your skin, the blanket of time, your skin where the darling seeds will plant, sleeping just beneath and grow their roots down and plant you secure in your body, and that will hold you there in the ground, plant you and plant you in the seed, and you as seed, you plant yourself and will grow with them as them, seed as seed, and you grow. It works that way and cannot work any other way. The roots tangled and twined by growth, our growth together, and love, stretching ourselves large and into the firmament and below down into the dark chasms of life, thoughts, words of seedlings traveling, drifting on the wind to touch down, touch you, touch to burrow into consciousness, the reaches of time, the span of wing to take flight as bird, as bee, as moth, the butterfly, the span of the hills, the forced march of mountains heaving up as magma to form the oceans, the seas, and the waves, the wave coming into where the land begins, as the land ends, spent and done, arriving and coming from waves, being as wave, you as rhythm of wave, as you arrive onto the shore, you stand on your feet, now upright, and you walk. And the other one I'm going to read is called These Islands. If you reconstruct the land, you have something in your mind, but can you walk on it, extending matter as the long peninsula that from your matter to matter you seduce to be there? And will you wave to me far out on the tip, the point of existence, the white handkerchief flailing in whatever breeze you conjure? Will I wave back or eyes downcast in that which is my world, simply ponder that which is inside and think briefly of all the times we shared when we did know each other, when we did laugh so hard together that we threw our heads back and released into the air this beauty of sound, our laughing, rising up and rising up, working its way up from the toes, or would it be from further down, below the line of walking? And what now? You on your island, now alone, when for you time stopped, and you sitting there knitting and knitting together yourself back into form, to keep the soul there with you, warm and steady, with you intact. And you don't mention your heart, but I know it, and the loss those who won't come back. You stretch yourself to me and I reach towards you with one hand and with the other out to sea. It is the moment we pause and listen to ourselves, knowing for that moment only something. And for you, I will extend the time, keep the time, beat the time as the pulse of me, inner, to this, the rhythm of ours and the us we share, knowing ourselves, and in another form, forgiveness, and allow the tired self to rest, the brief pause of surrender before stretching then. Stretching with and through ourselves is the moment we can extend, take form, take what we are inside and make ourselves as islands for us to walk from point to point to point across the reaches of the sea. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you. Captivating as always, Leslie. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Wearing on, as they say up here. All right, next up is actually somebody who I will be in the pub with next Sunday, hopefully, when we go live blotting in the Blue Lamp. And also is our feature point when we come back on Zoom on the 9th of January, I think it is. Please welcome Kelly.
Hello! I wasn't expecting to be on this soon. 2 seconds, I have to find a poem. Oh no! Oh no! You'll all be delighted to know that the last time I was here, I was on about writing how I was getting on my kids' book, right? And instead of finishing that one, I've started 2 more and I'm almost finished another one. So it's been a bit hectic. But I have got a new one today. And it's called The Poison Tree. But I must say, it's not very cheery for your Christmas show, Finn. I'm really sorry. I'm bringing the mood down again. But we'll just go for it and we'll crack on. Okay. So it's called The Poison Tree. Won't you take me on your loathsome pilgrimage to repent at the base of the poison tree? I'll bear witness to the grim, gruesome ritual as it drinks you down darkly and spits you out cold. Your tongue is brazen and barbed, my love, sitting proud within liquor-laced lips. Was it born from the fruit of the poison tree? It sure creeps with the same kind of rot. Intertwined, we could weep black and deeply, under branches with leaves limp with death. Into abstract rejection we'll writhe and dissolve, with neither one of us saving the other. Becoming one with the roots of the poison tree, searching fingertips gnarled out of reach, our souls twisted and tortured, frozen in time, as it drinks us down darkly and swallows us whole. So really nice and cheery, but thank you.
Now, you see, if you pay attention to the chat, you'd see you would have been on.
I'm so sorry, I was so flustered. Never mind. It's lovely to see you all.
Good. Right. Okay. We'll get a welcome now at this late stage. Our second debut blotter on the scene, and another northeast white. Please give a good welcome to Mandy Mcdonald. Mandy.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? This is certainly the first time I've been here, so I'm not quite sure what's going on in terms of visibility. Can I be seen? Can I be heard? Yeah? Okay. I've got a couple of things here. This is one that I actually wrote several years ago, before one of the previous UN conferences on the conferences on the environment, one of the previous COPs, but it turned out to be quite right for this one as well. It's called 4 degrees plus. First they said, it's not happening. Then they said, it's not our fault. Not really. It's just natural cycles. Ice ages come around all the time, geologically speaking. In between, it's been much warmer than this. Then they said, it won't happen in our lifetime. In our children's lifetime, maybe. Of course, we hope not. But by then, they'll have the technology to deal with it. And anyway, we'll adapt. We're an adaptable species. Let's look at adaptation. Agreed then? Somewhere with better wine, perhaps, but same time next year, if there is one. And this is another one which is actually about Australia, which is my country of birth. And it refers to the bushfires that were so devastating a few years ago. And it's called Requiem for a Sunburnt Country. This is the day of wrath. We did not expect it so soon. This hell carnival of flame-haired demons, leaping rivers, gulping everything with feral joy. But we should have expected it. Years ago, we would see them at night, red Christmas lights strung across a gorge far off. Nothing to worry about. Just keep an eye out for any change in the wind. Bushfires can be faster than you think. We took precautions, poised hoses by back doors, slashed tall weeds to the ground, went back to our barbecues, our fern-fringed pools. Now they're here, the lions, fiery-throated, flame-bodied. Huge napalm pads birth new infernos where they tread. Sirens blare apocalypse, engines race headlong, hell-bound. The sky glows orange. My country burns well. Its tree-shaded farms and villages flicker and shrivel and are gone. Pines explode. From tall eucalypt torches, birds fall, small shrieking embers. Our screens show a koala disconsolate on the ashy branch, but 8,000 more are dead. When the ravaged acres cool and the red glow fades, snakes and lizards crawl out of the ashes, thirst gaping, scarcely able to move among their dead kin. The papers say 1,000 species are extinguished. I am transfixed by the death of bees. I do not even speak of the people, their homes in ashes. The young firefighters dead. I cannot bear to speak of them. Read the news if you want to know. What have we done? Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you, Mandy. Glad you made it along. Thank you very much.
Very glad to be here. I only rushed in half an hour ago. Singing at a carol service, I'm afraid.
That's seasonal. Seasonal.
All right, that's seasonal.
All right. Cheers. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Welcome them back now. Hope they're ready. Jamie.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Right, this is one called Drowning. She's a good girl, she's so dependable, clean and tidy, her manners impeccable. She tries so hard not to make them mad. She's so good, why is she being so bad? She's a clever girl, her grades are high, the apple of her father's eye. She studies hard to fulfill every wish. She's so clever, why is she so foolish? Save me, I'm drowning, won't somebody help? They tied all the weights, but I jumped in myself. I can't see the surface, though I've tried to swim. I can't seem to clean up this mess that I'm in. She's an ugly girl, awkward and plain. They joke about it again and again. Through all the names, she stays dutiful. She's so ugly, why is she so beautiful? Save me, I'm drowning, won't somebody help? They tied all the weights, but I jumped in myself. I can't see the surface, though I've tried to swim. I can't seem to clean up this mess that I'm in. Save me, I'm drowning, won't somebody help? They tied all the weights, but I jumped in myself. I can't see the surface, though I've tried to swim. Cheers. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Fantastic night. I was glad I could make it, Finn.
Cheers. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Is that a new song, Jamie?
Oh, sorry. What's that? Sorry.
That's a new one, right? Because I've never heard that one before.
In actual fact, it's a very old one. That's why you haven't heard it before.
It's God. It's so incredible. Oh my God.
Thank you. Thank you. Your set was absolute fire, by the way.
All right.
Just keep
Thanks,
doing
mate.
what you're doing, JB. Excellent.
Thanks, Jamie.
Cheers. See you.
Finn, you're muted.
I'm not going through that whole speech again. I just could say we have two more artists to go tonight and today, this afternoon, wherever you are. And the penultimate one, I presume we could call him Liverpool's ambassador to America, Christopher T. George. Christopher.
Okay, I'm going to do the share screen.
Yep.
Couple of John Lennon things. I've got a John Lennon talk coming up. Let me get to the beginning of this. Here and yet not here for John Lennon. Here and yet not here, the same greaseback hair, the same leather jacket, sweat on the ceiling of the cavern, rocky in the warren, rocky in the womb. Here and yet not here, something else inside, something else driving the gum-chewing Ted, slouched against the smoke-blackened wall, not just a snide word, a mouthful of knuckles, circles encircling the eyes, crazy squiggled figures, words encircling the thoughts, pitched in a leer nonsense tongue, here and yet not here, inside the black leather, behind the hard eyes, later, dreams from 1 to 9, quiet over the fields of war, here and yet not here, one of 4 singing love to the virgin world, yet the orphan, the poet, the renegade for peace, here and yet not here. And this is Strawberry Fields forever, strawberry fields forever, perhaps, red sandstone walls, soot blackened, the smell of rain, green leaves dripping wet down your neck, the rank, ripe smell of alder plants, the white moonflowers, strawberry fields, a dream to the lad who can't see, who won't put on his national health specs forever and ever. Amen. Strawberry fields now and forever, like a point of light seen through a keyhole, or a view of a lawn wet from rain, seen from under the dark, rain-dripping leaves. A lawn stretching on and on, world without end. Strawberry fields forever. And this is a poem by Adrian Henry, a friend of mine, died in 2000. One of the 3 Liverpool poets. Some of you may know New York City Blues for John Lennon. You do not cross the road to step into immortality. An empty street is only the beginning. The words will still flow through you, even on this empty pavement, are heard in some far-off place, remote from flowers or flashbulbs. In that city, on Gothic railings, dark against snowing park. Still a dead flower, faded letter, already 1 month old. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. This empty street is only the beginning. Here in your other city, riot vans prowl the December dark. Remember angry embers of summer, familiar ghost guitars echo from stucco terraces. Meanwhile, in the valley of the indecision, we rehearse stale words, straw up expected songs, celebrate sad anniversaries, flowers and flashbulbs, cold pavements. You do not cross the road to step into immortality. At the end of the dark street waits the inevitable stranger. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Excellent work as usual. Thank you. Love the theme in that one. Brilliant. All right, we come to a final reader for tonight. And I watched them last night in the Ooh Beehive Slam. And that's why I don't understand slam, because I would have given them full marks. I really loved your piece last night, Gerald. It was excellent. Gerald Kells, thank you.
Thanks, Finn, and thanks for that. The great slam. Anyway, I was just going to do one, but I think because you said it was Christmas, you want some Christmas one. I'm just going to do a quick Christmas one first before I do the one I was going to do. This is called Christmas Prayer. For children carrying guns, I pray, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. For women taken far away, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. For men whose hope is torn away, on Christmas Day I turn to pray. May those who murder on this day, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day, from godless evil turn away, on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. And God to all give peace, I pray, as he gave love on Christmas Day. For who can hate and who can slay when Christ was born on Christmas Day? Rejoice, rejoice on Christmas Day. Rejoice again, rejoice, I say. That's one of my little Christmas poems. And we need to remember what it's about. It's not just about presents. So this one is time limited, so it's a good one to finish on. This is called Omicron Blues. My father was a Greek scholar, so I was kind of interested when we got onto Omicron of what he would think, and I wrote this. It's called Omicron Blues. I'm not sure how we got from Delta to Omicron. Did Gamma sound a bit too much like radiation? Would Alpha and Omega have been too biblical? Pi would have been interesting. Here is a pie chart of the pi variant. The theta variant comes with a refund for your next theatre ticket. Me, I've got a slight speech impediment, so a phi chart for the phi variant would make sense. There is epsilon, of course, and several others too often forgotten, but eventually we'll run out of Greek letters if the spike protein won't play ball. Maybe, like storms, we could use proper names. First sensible, then Welsh, then Lord of the Rings. The Boris variant had a ring. I could picture its strands going out in all directions. You wouldn't have to put a face to the graphic. Or the Trump mutation, but that's been done already, I think. Is there somewhere a secret naming organization shadowy like a James Bond movie hidden perhaps under Portland Down? Maybe like potato farming, there's a shortage of workers or an HGV delay, a Brexit issue. Coming over here, naming our viruses. If a hard border developed between variants in the island of Ireland, would that be a good or a bad thing? See, the trouble with deadly pandemics is that eventually people stop taking them seriously. They talk about the Omicron variant as if it was the title of some Doctor Who episode wiped by the BBC. Is that St. John's College, Cambridge? We need a new Greek letter from one of your chaps. No, not Vita. It's been copyrighted by a Hollywood actress. Yeah, we tried IKEA, but all their suggestions sounded like an infestation of flat pack furniture. Toys R Us had a few zodiac signs, but no Greek letters before Christmas. Putin offered to ship us a few names, but neither Novichok nor Lukashenko had the right ring. There's a few hidden in the periodic table, although the protactinium variant would probably be pointless. That's an in-joke for people in at 5:15. You see, it's best not to ask how we got from Delta to Omicron, because if it's a conspiracy like the virus itself, we should just stop naming variants and let it all go away. I'm wondering if Dr. No developed COVID in his lab, or Hu Jinping has a pile of Greek dictionaries labelled Wuhan edition. Imagine his mask slipping and out pops Heath Ledger playing the Joker. Or there's the Blofeld variant. Nah, Mr. Bond, I don't want you to talk. I want you to die. And as the laser approaches the balls of Sean Connery, he croaks, I know about Omicron. A turn of the head, a moment of doubt from Gert Frober. Put him in the booster rocket with Bezos and Shatner. And as they rise into space, hoping Honor Blackman will turn up with a dodgy name tag, the man from St. John's College rings back, we're keeping Epsilon up our sleeve, Prime Minister, unless you want to try Toys R Us again. They might still have Scorpio left after all. This one really does have a sting in its tail. The alternative, of course, is to vaccinate the poor, but why hurry? We've still got Lambda and Kappa to go. Thank you, that's me. That's my Omicron blues.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that one. Yeah. I liked it.
I swear.
We've got to name things nowadays all the time, haven't we?
I have to say something. Gerald never ceases to not entertain me. He just always hits the nail on the head.
Thank you, Bryan.
I'm always happy with Gerald. He's a good closer.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Gerald.
All right, thank you everyone for coming along. I've just realized I've read nothing tonight. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to. Why not? But I was feeling pretty crap all weekend when I was lying in bed and bedded up on Friday. I got an email saying that a poem of mine has got to be in an Irish book out next year sometime. And I thought, oh shit, that's a poem I couldn't find earlier on this year. So when they told me what it was, I was able to find it. And I'm going to read it to you now. And it's not really a cheery poem, but who cares? It's kind of about dementia. It's called Me. Here's what I remember. All day I sit and stare. I look out the window. The birds are pecking in the dead leaves, looking for. I see a big green, what are they called? Drive by. People sitting inside, looking out the window, looking at me. Someone comes and stands beside my chair and takes my arm and leads me to the. I'm sat down and given things in my hand to eat with. I like mashed potatoes and those wee green things. I am moved back to my seat at the window. The birds pecking in the dead, looking for insects. Someone takes my arm and I am sat in a big seat. I sit. Someone arrives and talks to me. They say things. I say, I want to see my mother. You're not my son. Where is my son? Ah, it's James, my grandchild. Why are you with a strange man? Why aren't you with my son? Your dad won't be happy with you. Who are you? They leave. Someone takes my arm. I sit by the window. Oh, look, there is a bus. There you go. That's it's got to be in there. Not the Time to Be Silent collected works. I forgot the name of the book there. Apt, considering what the poem was about. Yeah. And I'd like to thank you all for cheering me up and make me feel a lot better tonight, and have this pre-Christmas get together. And I'll see some of you next Sunday in Aberdeen. I'll see some of you on a week Tuesday when Celebration of Poets debuts on this very computer that you're looking at. And thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. Lovely to be here.
Good night as per usual.
Yeah, and don't at me. I'm a Weight Watch. I'm a celebrity. Don't. Okay.
No. Oh, it's really great to be here. I'm glad I managed to rush in.
Everyone have a wonderful.
Yeah, have a great Christmas, everyone. Those I don't see before.
Lovely
Thank
Christmas.
you. Yeah.
Oh, happy Christmas! Merry Christmas! Yay! Happy New Year!
Bye,
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays. Good to see everybody.
Bye.